What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745. And in this video, as you can see, we are finally looking at Cammi. First of all though, thank you to Mark for this awesome graphic. But like I said, we were going to look at Cammi this week, and here we are. So I'm happy that we came through. However, we're going to have to do at least one more video on her. And that's because we're only going to feature her with Winter Soldier in this video. For one, we kind of got caught up using this team, and two, I wanted to feature the next match, and it's one of the longest in the history of my videos, so I'm going to warn you right now. Because of that fact though, we couldn't really squeeze in too many other teams, so I just decided to go with the same one throughout. Okay, so as far as our current match, let's go ahead and get into it. I love the fact that this agent's name's Play Troll. Great name. And I can kind of understand why they're using the Lantern of Doom because of its amazing debuffs. Though obviously with Pestilence, you're not going to prevent anything with Warding Essence. But I'm sure they're aware of that. Also, this is kind of a throwback team, Enchantress and Pestilence Beast. They were monsters at one time. Now I don't know, they just don't seem as great, certainly not as imposing. But as you can see, we do have some magnetized mines on the entire enemy team. They don't all have the blast mine, but I believe two of them do. So we're going to go ahead and use the Solar Storm and trigger all the mines. Now this is the only version of this I have. So obviously if I had the other one, I would use it. But just focusing on the match, we do end up taking down Beast, and that kind of makes it all worth it. And then as far as the enemy agent, we nearly knock him out as well. Then after he's stunned, we're going to use our Knife Assault, which does have Fatal Blow. And either way, we would have knocked him out. So this match is going pretty fast. Now with Cammi, we're going to go ahead and use Distraction. Then we're going to fire her Plasma Shot, and she will follow it up with Get Off My Lawn. A pretty hilarious name for an ability, and you'll also find she does decent damage. Of course though, she would do even more if we had enough stamina. Now after taking a Magic Missile counterattack, we get a follow-up from the Relentless Rapier, and then with our next turn, we're going to go ahead and use our Jetpack combo. This should also get a follow-up attack, and by the end of it all, Enchantress is going to be knocked out. So there it is, our first match down, and a pretty decent ending. Certainly a match that's on the faster side. But next, we're going to give ourselves a real test. And that's against a very high health Cloak and Dagger and Null team. So the question is, can Cammi and Winter Soldier handle a team up like this? Well, we're going to find out. And to be honest with you, for a long time now, I really disliked Cammi. When her Spec Op first hit the scene, she was kind of broken, she wasn't working quite right. I mean, remember some of her attacks, they didn't even deal damage. Now, sometimes her attacks are still on the low side, though you can pump up her damage a bit. But that beginning blunder kind of turned me off on this hero. Oh, and the fact that I've never heard of her, and she's just a young kid with no real powers. So I guess it goes even before that to when they first announced her. So yeah, they said Cammi and I thought, the only Cammi I know is from Street Fighter. Then I looked her up and she was supposed to be like an 11-year-old girl or maybe even 10. With pretty much no powers. And this young child was going to take on supervillains. Even for someone with an imagination who loves these storylines, it sounded pretty crazy. So I was a bit of a hater. And yes, I'm honest, I don't know anything about her story. So I may be completely off. Unfortunately, I can't keep up with every addition to the Marvel Universe, but if you have a specific book that I should look at, or any stories about her I should read, just let me know in the comment section below. Still though, I say all that to say this. Now after using her a bit and just giving her a shot, mainly because you all pushed me to, I have to say she's a decent character. She didn't greatly underperform or anything bad like that. In fact, she beat a Spitfire team, now we're coming up against this team, You saw her take down Pestilence Beast, and we're even going to squeeze another match in after this long one. I mean, currently it's going great. We already knocked out Null, Cloak and Dagger are at 50%. And the enemy agent, well, they're kind of starting to get set up, I guess we could say. So Cammi is a bit resilient. She is a tactician, so with all these Blaster E3 costumes, and other blasters in general, she's going to be getting some extra turns. And then her multi-function quick action level 2, plus her mines, make her a decent hero. Now I do prefer it when those mines spread to everyone, and they don't always. That's kind of the gamble part of it. But right here we see a blast mine and a rapier follow-up, and Cloak and Dagger are almost knocked out. So then after that, we're actually going to use a plasma shot. Unfortunately, it misses. And then Get Off My Lawn drops C&D to about 3300 HP. Now I have to chime in and say at this point, I thought Improbability Field would be a pretty decent bet. I would have also used Inevitable Doom because I know how Cloak and Dagger are. But we didn't have enough stamina for both. Or so I thought. But Cloak and Dagger are taken so low on health, still surviving, then they use Child of Light. That's why this match ends up being a nightmare in terms of length. So yeah, not only did they do that, they also gave their team Detox. Hey, Cloak and Dagger laugh at despair. Doesn't even stop them. So now the question becomes, how do we set them up with no stamina? They can't even take dots basically. Well, we're going to try to just use the Atom Smasher and hopefully finish off the agent as soon as we can. So for that, we do call in the Atom Smasher. They're pretty low on health, and we think that with Winter Soldier's level 9, his Knife Assault, we should be able to hit them with Fatal Blow. So following their turn, which thankfully we interrupt, we're going to go ahead and use that ability on Agent Fox. Alright, so here it goes. And it does end up connecting, so they're going to be knocked out. So now to work on Cloak and Dagger for a few solid minutes, and then we should hopefully win. Now one other thing that I do want to do before I forget, I remember one of my viewers asked me to go ahead and give a shout out to my Brazilian fans. So shout out to everyone in Brazil. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Now at some point here, I'm going to be able to use the Blackest Void and get rid of Detox. But for now, well, we're just going to have to suffer. But also, we're going to use this opportunity to get back our HP, so we'll use the Alluring Light, and then we're going to have to recharge because of stamina. Then on Cloak and Dagger's turn, they're a little bit hurt, but they're going to use Close the Gap and Child of Light once again. So at this point, if you mouse over them, it says Detox times 2. Almost mocking us. Still though, with Winter Soldier, we're going to begin setting up a few mines. So after using Quick Reflexes, we're going to use the Magnetized Chemical Mine on Cloak and Dagger. Then following that, it's going to be Cammi's turn, but she has no stamina whatsoever. So we have to recharge. Then as you can see, they do have Detox times 2. And what we're going to do is use the Blackest Void. Believe it or not, that's going to take it away. So after doing this, we can hopefully hit them with a Blast Mine from Cammi. Then set it off with a Solar Storm. At least for now, that's going to be the plan. And fortunately, we did remove some of their buffs because they used a Shot in the Dark, and that could have been very bad. On Winter Soldier's turn, we'll just go ahead and use his Aim Shot, and of course, C and D are going to dodge it. But we are going to follow it up with a Relentless Rapier, and that does connect. So, Cammi's turn, we'll use Momentary Advantage. Then we're going to target Cloak and Dagger, plus add Flanked. We'll have to recharge after that, then use her level 6. So here comes a Jetpack combo. It connects and we'll follow it up with Get Off My Lawn. So at this point, Cloak and Dagger are pretty well set up and our agent's up next with the Solar Storm. So first a Smothering Shadow for more dots. Then, let's go ahead and set off those mines. So here goes nothing. The initial hit, a chemical explosion, and the blast wave finishes them off. So there you see we can actually win, and it could have been a lot faster if we finished C and D. But just to do one more match, we're facing Psylocke and Emma Frost. This should be an interesting match, but I'm really not too worried about it. In fact, we get to start with Winter Soldier and a chemical mine right away. So I am pretty pleased with that. However, Emma Frost targets us and they have the rapier. Plus he's going to do a brawl follow-up. After all that absorb energy though, we actually end up back at full health. So this time on Cammi's turn, I guess we'll use distraction on the enemy agent. Then I'll target him with our level 6. To be honest with you, sometimes I don't know which one of those multi-functions to use. But I do want to target him. That way our jetpack combo lands. And we get a decent follow-up attack as well. Too bad for absorb energy though. Aim shot, even though it's supposed to be aimed, misses somehow. And they have the Warbringer axe, which is a throwback, and it does a ton of damage. That was actually pretty scary, I have to say. Next up though, on my agent's turn, we're going to use the Smothering Shadow. And after that, I guess we'll use the Solar Storm. It's early, but why not? This most likely will finish off the enemy agent, and that's always a good thing. So a chemical explosion, then a 58k crit. Now that's a nice finish. That of course was all thanks to Cammi, that was her mine after all. Now on Winter Soldier's turn, we're going to go ahead and use his level 2 Revolutionary Strike on Psylocke. And we get a follow-up as well. He's now going to join in on single target attacks. So Cammi has a few of those, and my agent may be using one or two himself. Okay, and they seem to be going after Cammi, but she is pretty resilient, so that's another thing I have to give her. At this point, we can get an extra turn because of momentary advantage. Then we'll give her a shield to make her even tougher. And after that, we'll use a plasma shot on Psylocke. There's Winter Soldier joining in already, and my agent as well. So one more attack should finish her off. And Cammi does get the killing blow. Now since we are obviously coming to the end of this one, I'm not really sure what we're going to do for tomorrow, but I am going to try to have an extra video. If not tomorrow, then on Sunday. So hopefully that makes up for the holiday weekend last week. It's probably not going to be Cammi, but we will have another video of her very soon. It could be Beetle, so that's a possibility. Another option is, if the new Richard Rider Nova comes out, we will make a video on him. So we'll see what happens, but I do want to thank you all for watching. Ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care.